us a story when you're ready.
I'm ready.
You're not
Let's
ready,
do this.
and that's fine.
I don't know if I'm ready. Fourth wing. If you're planning on reading Iron Flame and you've already read Fourth Wing, this is a great, catch-up.
Reminder.
Okay?
Yeah.
If you want to read Iron Flame and you haven't read Fourth Wing, just probably go read it, because I'm going to miss a lot of details that are important to the story. So Debbie has read Fourth Wing, but she's also read Iron Flame. Yes, she's read it 3 times. So she might not say much, because I feel like everything I say about Fourth Wing, you've read Iron Flame, so you're like, oh my gosh, you have no idea, right?
That's exactly, because so much happens in Fourth Wing that it's like laying the groundwork for the series.
So she might help me with this story a little bit. Fourth Wing. They live in the region of Navarre. Navarre has been at war for what seems like hundreds of years, okay? They're always at war with this other group that I forget the name of.
I just thought they were like, okay.
Anytime there's war stuff, like battles or strategic talking about war, I'm just like, yada, 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 alright, we get it.
Blah, blah, blah.
So since they're always at war, you kind of grow up preparing to go to Basgaeth War College, okay? So there's 4 basically different majors, different sections of Basgaeth. Okay, there's the healers quadrant, where if you want to basically be a doctor. And then there's infantry, which is weapons.
Yeah.
There's scribes that track all the history, all of the archives of everything, super smart, know all the information. And then there's the riders. What do they ride?
Dragons.
Okay.
Horses.
No horses.
Chief. Thanks.
A dog.
I'm bad under pressure.
They ride dragons, okay? Riders Quadrant is by far the most deadly. A fourth of the cadets who sign up the first year survive. A lot of people
A fourth
don't
survive?
make it. Yes.
So 3/4 die.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, you
Good
must be a
math.
math teacher.
Yeah, just saying. Just making sure I heard that right. That's a big number.
So a lot of opportunity to move up quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And you also get powers, usually, that your dragon gives you if you are lucky enough to bond with a dragon, okay? Plus, I'm a dragon rider. I mean, that just sounds cool, okay? Some people want to be riders. Most of it is volunteers. Most people spend their life preparing for the quadrant that they are going into. They study about it. They are, fighting and preparing to be a rider, whatever it is. Our heroine, Violet Sorrengail, grew up wanting and preparing to be a scribe. Okay? She was born with a disability of sorts, with an illness. Her joints are super weak, and she just gets hurt very, very easily. She's used to being in pain all the time. So say she fell down, she might get a broken wrist, whereas someone else might just get bruises or something. Mm-hmm. She was always raised to be a scribe. Her father is a scribe. Her mother is General Sorrengail. She's a rider. She's in charge of the whole army. Oh, okay? Wow. So the Sorrengail family. Violet's older brother was a rider, and he died. Okay? Because that happens a lot with riders. Her older sister Mira is also a rider. 2 of them are badass. Brennan could heal people. That was his kind of power. And then Mira can, if someone's attacking the fortress or something, she can put them at bay for longer and stuff like that. Oh, cool. Brennan died about 5 years ago. And he died because there was an uprising or a rebellion. And the rebellion went against Navarre. All the leaders of the rebellion were killed, and their children were marked. Hey, this kid is obviously a child of a rebellion leader. Oh. Be wary of them type thing. And they were all sent to the Riders Quadrant, where it's like, hey, we'll spare your life, but you might die anyway, because this is hard to survive. Yeah. So that's how Brennan died. Her father died not long after her brother from a heart attack or something, and grief and things like that.
Sad.
So she grew up being very close with her dad because they were the two scribes of the family. And he taught her so many things. She's very smart and was raised to be a scribe, right?
And that's just the prologue.
Right. So I was like, the book starts out. Let's read history.
Holy.
The book starts out with Violet getting ready to be in the Riders Quadrant. It is like opening day of Basgaia. Her father and brother are gone. Her mother, the general, says 6 months ago, you're going to be in the Riders Quadrant. You're not going to be a scribe. Okay? And she's like, there's no way that I'm going to survive because of my condition, and all of the other cadets have been raised since birth to be a rider and is like choosing into this. Mother is very cold and whatever. Mira, her older sister, is like, you are basically sentencing her to death. Like, how can you do this? Opening day of Basgaia. Violet's getting ready. Mira says, okay, screw mom, I'm going to help you get ready. So she gives her this dragon armor that's really hard or impossible to stab through. She gives her these awesome boots that are like super slip resistant. Just dresses her up, gives her some daggers, like, okay, you can hold your own in this.
Yeah.
Mira says, okay, you're all ready and dressed to go. Find Dane. Find Dane Atos. They grew up with Dane. He was a childhood friend. They trust him. He's a second year in the Riders Quadrant. He, like, has a little bit of power. Like, he knows the name of the game. Find Dane. He's going to help protect you, okay? She also says, stay the hell away from Xaden Ryerson.
Okay.
Xaden was the son of the head rebellion leader. Okay, so he's marked up. He's a rebellion guy. He is also has a lot of power in the Riders Quadrant because he has a lot of power. I don't know how to describe it more than that. So she just says, stay the hell away from Xaden Ryerson. Like, he's going to kill you if he finds out that you are mom's daughter, if you're a Sorrengail. Because General Sorrengail was in charge of killing all of their parents, okay?
Rebellion general.
Yes, so he's like, your mom killed my dad type thing, okay? So, the first task that they have to do to even get to the college is to walk the parapet. The parapet is like, Violet's here, the college is here, and it's this tiny-ass little bridge, slippery as hell, over this big, huge, giant cliff, okay? And like 50 or 60 cadets die every year just by falling off the parapet.
Nice.
So she's getting ready for that.
Okay.
She's on the stairs, getting ready to go, pumping herself up. Couldn't bring a whole lot with her in her pack. And she meets Rhiannon and Dylan. And they're like, okay. Like, Rhiannon, she notices, has really slippery boots on, not a lot of traction. And she's like, Rhiannon, like, switch me one of my boots. Like, we're different sizes, but you have to have at least one good boot up there to get you across. And she's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. They kind of bond a little bit, okay? She is waiting to go across the parapet, sees Xaden at the sign-in post, and is like, shit.
I have already failed my first task.
Yeah. One, shit. He's gonna totally hear my name and know exactly who I am, okay? Two, he is very good looking. And I am very sexually attracted to this man. He's very beautiful, okay? He looks at her, he sees her, hears her name, and basically just, like, hates her right off the bat. It's just, like, keeps it cool, like, doesn't, like, you're gonna die type thing, but is like, yeah, I'm gonna find you and kill you type thing, okay? So she gets onto the parapet. Rhiannon's in front of her. Things are going okay. Dylan falls first, okay? R.I.P. Dylan.
Oh.
Dylan falls. She's like shaken up by that, but okay, I have to keep going. She slips at one point, hurts her knee. She's like, okay, I have to keep going. Then this
douchebag.
Yes. Jack Barlow, is that his last name? Jack Barlow just doesn't like Violet, is just basically just this horrible person. He pushes someone off and kills at least one person. And it's basically like, you're next, little shorty. Like, because Violet's just little. He's like, I'm gonna freaking kill you right now. So he's walking across and she's like, freaking hell! And she finally gets down, finally crosses it, turns around, and he's right behind her, like, going to kill her. And she sticks a dagger basically in his balls and is like, don't you dare touch me. And he's like, just you wait, I'm gonna totally kill you as soon as I get a chance. We don't like Jack. He's a bad juju.
Yeah.
Okay? She's landed. She's like, okay, I didn't die. I'm not gonna die. I can do this, okay? Her knee hurts like hell, like out of socket, like bad. She either finds Dane or Dane finds her and is like, what the hell are you doing here? You were raised to be a scribe. Like, you are not gonna survive. Like, I've grown up with you. I've seen you get hurt. Like, why are you here? Yeah. Let's take you back to the scribe quadrant. And she's like, if you take me there, my mom's just going to send me right back. And then I'm going to look even more weak. Like, I'm here. Like, this is what's happening. Deal with it. So he helps her, wraps her knee. And she's also like, Dane is super cute. You grew up real nice. And I've always had a crush on
Wait,
you.
is she just attracted to everyone? She's like, oh, he looks good. Oh, he looks good.
That's her superpower.
Yeah. So Dane's like, okay, well, I'm going to put you in my squad. Like, I'll watch over you type thing. It'll be okay. They start sorting the cadets once everyone's crossed.
Slytherin. Hufflepuff.
Exactly.
When you said that's exactly where I went.
Yes. Yep.
Interesting.
So they start sorting the cadets. They see dragons for the first time, like they're massive things. And this whole book kind of has Hunger Games feel, where you're like, don't trust anybody and anybody could die at any second. Like, that's kind of how I felt reading the Hunger Games. So it's kind of like that vibe. They get sorted, and there's 4 wings. And then in each of the 4 wings, there are 3 squads, 3 sections. So Dane is a section leader, and he puts Violet in his section. Xaden is a wing leader. So he's higher up. He's one of the 4. Mm-hmm. And he sees where Violet is, and he's like, no. And he moves her to his wing. Okay, so she's like, freaking hell, okay, what's this guy gonna freaking do to me? Moves her to his wing, and Dane is in the 4th wing as well. Okay? So she is 4th wing, section, I don't know. Classes start. She's super smart because she grew up being a scribe, so she knows a lot of the things they're talking about already. She knows a lot of the battles, strategic history stuff. But she, like, sucks at fighting. They also have a class where they fight each other, okay? Rhiannon, her little friend she made at the parapet, was being raised to be a writer, so she's really good at fighting. So they switch and say, Violet, help me study for these classes. Mm-hmm. I will help you fight. So they bond, they help each other out. You can basically kill each other, except, like, people die on the mats fighting each other and everything, but there's a rule where you cannot attack if they are sleeping. So people can sleep in peace. You cannot attack someone when they are sleeping. One night...
I just want to sleep all day.
I know, I'm sleepy. I'm sick. Gotta stay in bed.
One night, I believe Mira got in there somehow, gives her the Book of Brennan. Brennan was her older brother, right? And Brennan wrote a journal for Mira saying, hey, this is how you survive. This is tips and tricks. So Mira now gives that book to Violet.
Oh, how special.
So she has that. So she has a way to see who is challenging her the next day for a fight. She, like, finds different little tips and tricks. She decides, because she has not been raised to be a killer, basically. She doesn't feel comfortable with that. So she starts learning things about different cadets and using different poisons she collects to like, putting their breakfast before their fight. So then by the time they're fighting, one of the cadets passes out or gets hives or, like, whatever. So she's really smart that way. One night, she sneaks out through this tunnel Brennan told her about by this river outside and is collecting different plants for different poisons. And Xaden shows up with, like, 12 other different people. And she hides up in this tree and is like, shit. I cannot let him see me. So she basically...
She's not sleeping. She could die.
Yes.
She's not sleeping.
So basically she overhears their conversation. They all have marks, so they're all children of the rebellion, okay? There's a rule that children of the rebellion can't gather more than 3 of them. But there's like 12 of them here, so she could totally tell Dane that this is what's happening and this is what Xaden is doing.
Well, also, that's terrifying of, like, they're breaking the rules.
What are they doing? Mm-hmm. So she's like, yeah, but they don't seem like to be, like, planning anything. Xaden just kind of seems like he's helping these first years because they're rebellion kids. Like, I don't really... As long as I get out of this alive, I'm good. Like, I don't care what you're doing. Xaden has the power of shadows. So shadows... tell him different things. He commands shadows. Like, it's a cool power that he has. And so he basically senses her / feels she's there, catches her when all the other cadets are gone, and is like, what are you doing, Sorengale? Like, and she's like, I won't tell, I promise. Just let me go. And he's like, fine, you can go. But, like, I'll know if it's you, obviously, and everything. Threatening. But
sexually
sexual tension, obviously. They separate. He's like, whatever. They separate. That was a separation.
They bang bang and then they separate. That's all they do.
Okay, so there's lots of different events, all kind of leading up to whether or not you will bond with a dragon. Okay? There's the gauntlet. She has to, like, it's basically like, what's that show with all the obstacles? And then they climb the wall at the end. Ninja Warrior?
Oh, yeah.
It's basically like that.
Okay.
Okay, on this big cliff and mountainside. So, some of her friends die on that. They're all trying to get up to this thing to where the dragons are. She finally kind of gets up there through her knives, because she's shorter than everyone. And this wing leader called Amber is like, that's totally cheating. She can't do that. And Xaden's like, I think she can. Like, I think it's fine. Gets up there. Gets to continue on. She's like, okay, another thing. I made it. When they're up there, there's something called presentation, where basically it's like a pageant in front of all of the dragons. And they just walk. And you may or may not get burned alive. You may make it. Like,
so the dragons pick off who they want to pick off.
Like, I kind of pictured Hunger Games when they were, like, showing off their district.
Yes.
Like, Katniss was in her, like, fire
pick
dress.
me, I'm cool, type
yeah,
thing. And the dragons just sit there
judging
and, like,
you.
I am. And then, like, one of the girls is, like, talking too much, and so the dragon, like, burns her alive. Like,
she's annoying.
Yes.
Off with her.
So, and then they have to, like, walk over her body. Like, it's like,
I just want to zoom in on your face for your reaction.
What the hell? What did you read? This is why you read it, so I don't have to.
So, that's a big thing. She makes it through that. Rhiannon makes it through that. I think she has another friend, Riddick. Is that his name? So then it's called threshing. Threshing is everybody goes out into the field, all the cadets, hoping and praying that they get to bond with a dragon, that a dragon picks them to bond with. Cadets can die from a dragon. Cadets can die from other cadets. It's like a free-for-all. Or you might not bond with a dragon, but you might make it back and try again next year. She's out.
If you don't die, we'll give you a second chance.
Yeah.
Next year, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, she's out in the field. Jack Barlow. Do you remember Jack?
Yes. Yes.
And 2 of his cronies, Oren and Tynan, I want to say, are like, where's the weakest link? Let's go kill him. Oh, look at that dragon over there. There's this little tiny golden dragon. Not tiny. She's like, probably as big as this room. I don't know. Like,
Tiny in comparison to other dragons.
Tiny in comparison to other dragons. They're like, oh, let's kill it. It's a weak one. Like, let's get rid of it. She's like, why am I gonna freaking kill this little dragon? Like, that's not allowed. F that. And so she goes and she tries to warn the dragon and say, get out of here. They're coming to kill you. They show up. The dragon's like, what are you talking about? And she fights these 3 guys. She's like, you're not going to kill this freaking dragon. Come at me, Jack. I'm so sick of you. Okay? Xaden shows up. And Xaden is not allowed to interfere. Wing leaders and section leaders are allowed to observe but not interfere, okay?
Yeah.
Xaden shows up and watches this stuff happen. She chucks a dagger at Barlow's in the shoulder. He runs off because he's a pansy. She knocks out Orin. And then Tynan is about to kill her. And a big, huge black dragon comes up behind her and lands and kills Tynan. He breathes fire on her, and he says, get out of the way, kills Tynan, okay?
Oh, dang.
Then she has Orin, and she's like, he's passed out, I'm not going to kill him. She now she heard the black dragon say, get out of the way, in her mind, okay? The black dragon has decided to bond with Violet. This black dragon, his name is Tarn. And he hasn't bonded in a really long time. And he is one of the most powerful dragons that they know of. Okay? It's like 100 years old. Very above all the other dragons. Like, very powerful.
He's been around the block.
Yes, he chooses to bond with Violet.
Strongest link with the weakest link.
Yes. Xaden watches all this. They fly to the kind of entrance to enter in. Yep, I'm Violet Sorrengail. Tarn decided to bond with me, and the little golden dragon flies and follows them. So she says, yes, this is my dragon, holy crap, he's massive. And then she also hears the little golden dragon in her head, and that dragon is named Andarna. And Andarna wants to bond with Violet too.
I was gonna say, can she have 2 dragons?
It's never happened before. So all of the leaders that are there are like, no way, that's not happening. It's never happened before. Taryn goes back and meets with the dragons and is like, you humans have nothing to say about it. This is totally fine. Deal with it. Because dragons are like, you're welcome for giving you powers and helping you out.
Humans don't govern dragons.
Yes. So she now has 2 dragons. But especially since she has 2 dragons and she bonded with Tarn, she is now a target for cadets who did not bond dragons at all.
Oh.
Because if they kill her, they're like, Tarn might bond with me since I killed the cadet he bonded with. Plus she has 2 dragons, so it's like odds of...
Wait, but the dragons don't like protect them? Wouldn't they be mad if you killed their person?
So your bond with your dragon is at its weakest when you first bond. And so you, even though you like the dragon chose you to bond, you still kind of have to prove yourself.
Gotcha.
Like when they first bond, they like go flying, and if you fall off, the dragon's like, "Well, you're weak. I'm done with you, and then we'll find someone else to bond with."
I want to try this with you.
Yeah.
So she's a target. Also, before she goes back and is like, "Oh my gosh, I bonded with a friggin' 2 dragons," Dane is so excited she survived, grabs her, kisses her. Okay? And kind of in front of everybody. And she feels nothing. She's like, the crap, I've like liked him forever. Why don't I feel anything for Dane? Like, it kind of sucks, but alright, I guess I don't feel anything. And he's like, we'll talk later. And she's like, alright.
Alright.
Dang it.
So, that night, she is sleeping in her bed. Remember, you can't be attacked while you sleep. Wrong! Bunch of people, not a bunch of people, like 4 people, come into her room. Orin is one of them, who she saved in the freaking field. She saved him.
It's true.
And he's like, they all come in. They are let in by a wing leader she sees right before she leaves. And it's that Amber girl who said, you cheated on the gauntlet type thing. Okay? So she sees that they let all of them in her room. And they all try and kill her. Okay? She's like dying, getting choked to death. And Andarna uses her dragon power of stopping time. She can stop time for a minute or so. Okay? So Violet sees this is happening and uses it, gets out of it, and goes into the hallway to run for help. Xaden is coming down the hallway, and she tells him what's happened. Xaden goes in, kills everybody. And, because they would have been killed anyways, because that's a top offense to try and attack someone in their sleep. And saw that the time stopped as well. Okay? And she also says it was Amber. Amber let them in my room, because only wing leaders have the power to, like, open their doors or whatever. Xaden's dragon's name is Sigale. She's this big, huge blue dragon. She's super powerful as well. Tarn and Sigale are mates. Okay? So they can talk to each other. They're very lovey-dovey. Okay? They're mates. Which has now kind of bonded Xaden and Violet together.
Okay.
Okay? So, like, if Tarn and Violet die, or Violet dies, that could have a serious effect on Sigale and Xaden, so far as to it will probably kill them, because Sigale and Tarn are so connected. So he kills all of them and is like, let's go outside, get you some fresh air. And Sigale and Tarn and Andarna land. And Xaden's like, this is what's happening. We're kind of all connected now. If you die, I basically die.
Xaden found out Violet was in trouble and needed help because Taryn can talk to Xaden. Taryn is bonded to Violet. Taryn knew what was going to happen, woke Violet up, wake up, you gotta fight, woke Xaden up, wake up, Violet needs help. And this is when Violet finds out we're all connected. But Andarna is not mated to any of them, so Andarna is not connected to Xaden.
Oh.
Okay. Does that
The
make
little
sense?
gold one.
You following? Yeah.
Yep.
So they're like a foursome. Taryn, Sigale, Xaden, Violet.
Yeah.
Okay. So they also learn that Andarna is actually more of a baby dragon. That's why a lot of people have never seen her before or see her very rarely. That's why this gift is so rare of her being able to stop time. Like she should only be able to do it as a baby. She'll probably grow out of it. And humans could totally take her and study her because she doesn't have, like, she has paws. She doesn't have claws yet. Like, she's very easy. Humans could take her and study her and do whatever they wanted to her. So they're like, we kind of can't tell anybody about this particular gift of Andarna's. We have to protect Andarna. Okay?
Makes sense.
She tells Xaden about Amber being the one that opened the door. And Xaden calls in front of everybody, puts Amber on trial, and says, this is what happened last night. Amber, you're gonna die, because that's not allowed. Dane all of a sudden gets all up in Violet's face and is like, I don't believe you. She wouldn't do that. And Violet's like, you don't believe me? Like, I wouldn't just lie. And Dane has the powers to, if he touches your face, might be your body, but just your face, he can see any memories you have.
Oh.
So he's like, let me touch you and see it for myself. She's like, you're not going to just, like, violate me and do whatever you want and get my memories if I don't want to show them to you. Like, screw you type thing in front of everybody. She asks Tarn to show her memory of Amber opening the door to the other dragons, because all dragons can talk to each other.
Yeah.
And then the dragons shared it to
with their people.
And then, is it Tarn or one of the dragons flames Amber? She did. So Xaden is like, listen, if you're gonna die, I'm freaking gonna die, and I don't want to freaking die. So I'm gonna have my friend Liam be with you all the time. She's like, what? I don't need a bodyguard. He's like, yes, you do. Okay.
Obviously.
I'm going to put a special shield on your door so nobody can go in except you. Liam's going to sleep next door, and he's going to go to every single one of your classes and be wherever you are all the time. Okay? She's like, whatever. Screw you. Liam, we love Liam, though. We're very grateful. He's not a douche. He's, like, the sweetest guy ever.
Oh.
And he's like, hey, I'm your buddy. Like, let's go to class type thing. But he's, like, this huge, massive guy. So he ends up telling her, yeah, me and Xaden were foster brothers, essentially, because our parents were killed. He's a rebellion kid as well. Our parents were killed and we grew up in the same house. And so that's why Xaden trusts him and everything. Also, Xaden has Imogen, another rebellion kid. She's in charge of strengthening Violet. She's like, hey, we gotta build your muscles up because you're gonna fall off your freaking dragon. Or you're a decent fighter, but let's build your muscle like a ton.
Yeah.
For you to stay on this dragon. Because flight lessons are not going well. Okay? She falls off all of the time. She falls off Terran.
Does that make her dragon so mad?
He catches her every time.
Okay.
Which is unique.
Mm-hmm.
Usually a dragon, if you fall,
they let you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he's like, no, you're my freaking rider. Like, and he even uses some of his power to keep her on. Mm. And she says, no, if we're in battle, you need all of your power. I have to be able to hold on to you by myself. Like, so she falls and falls and falls, and he catches, blah, blah, blah. So she feels whatever Terran feels.
Uh-huh.
So if he's super frustrated, she feels that.
Uh-huh.
Him and Sigale are having dragon loveliness time. Okay? And so all of a sudden she's like, I don't feel like this. Like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And she goes outside to get some air, and Xaden's out there, and he's smoking something to, like, relax him. And he's like, yeah, I know. Like, this
I feel
sucks.
it too.
He's like, do you want some? He kind of calms you down. Like,
Do you want some? That's funny.
That's what she said.
like,
Want some? Or
like
just
this
keep
is a thing that's just gonna happen. They are in love. Cutie dragons. And they get talking, tension builds, they end up kissing. Xaden and Violet.
Ooh.
Finally, okay? Doesn't last very long though. Xaden's like, no, this is not a good idea. This isn't happening.
Yeah, because he's like above her.
Yes.
Whoa, that's what she
And
said.
like, they're already connected. Like, what if things go south just in their relationship alone? They're like, we're together basically for the rest of our lives. Like,
yeah.
He's like, I'm not doing this. Bleh.
But, remember when she kissed Dane and she was like, I feel nothing, you're my brother?
She was like, oh, damn.
That's what a kiss should feel like.
Yes. So, Violet is doing her thing, practicing writing, getting trained with Imogen, with muscles. Liam is with her all the time. She can go to the scribe quadrant, like, library to check out different books and things. And she goes in there one time and is looking for the Book of Fables, the mythological creature book that she had with her dad. And it's not there. Like, the scribes are like, we don't have that at all. And she's like, that is so weird because the scribe library is supposed to have every single book except for forbidden books. And she's like, weird. Why would my dad have, like, the only copy of that book? That's so weird. But she also realizes this kind of feels like home, but I'm really becoming a writer. Like, this, I was meant to do this. Like, she's really feeling some more confidence. Just in time, because Jack Barlow is like, you're still alive. I'm going to kill you. Challenge you to a fight. Okay? She gets challenged by Jack. She tells Liam, do not tell Xaden. I want to handle this on my own. He's going to come and make a big fuss. Don't tell him. Okay? Liam waits a little bit, but it's not looking good, and then he runs and tells Xaden. Okay? She knows that Jack is allergic to oranges, so she uses a little something. He passes out or gets anaphylactic shock or something, and because she's almost gonna die, and then she passes out from that, doesn't die, wakes up in the healer's quadrant place. Xaden's there, and he's like, screw you for not freaking telling me. He's like, Liam's done being your bodyguard. I'm gonna be with you 24/7. And she's like, frick. She's like, also yes, but also screw you. I can take care of myself type thing, okay?
Don't need no man.
Yes, so Xaden is like, okay, we're gonna go do some more flying lessons because you're still sucking, okay? She's like, whatever. On their way to the flight field, they run into a couple different commanders / General Sorengale, her mom. Her mom basically doesn't give her the time of day, and it's like the worst. And it doesn't say like, hi Violet, how are you doing? Like, Cadet Sorengale, like, you better be doing this or whatever. Nothing. So Xaden sees that and is like, she killed my dad, but really, like, Violet doesn't really have a relationship with her mom. He very much sees, like, you're not the same person at all. So then, I was a little confused, but for some reason, Dane's section is sent to a post thing that Mira is stationed at. To kind of get them like, hey, this is strategically where we are. This is what an outpost looks like. This is what's happening. Mira's there. She's so excited to see Mira.
Yeah.
Mira gives her the fable book that her dad had. Mira said, I knew this was so important to you, so I kept it to give to you. So she has her favorite book from her dad.
Good.
Okay? Zayden shows up, because it's been a couple days, and he's like, yeah, I'm here because Sigale can't be away from Tarn for more than a few days. And Dane's like, why are you here? Like, you're always in my space. Blah. And Zayden's like, what are you gonna do, son? And Dane's like, well, nothing. And they bicker, and yeah. So then the outpost falls under attack. And Mira's like, get out of here, get all the cadets out of here, but she's really adamant, Zayden, get her the hell out of here. Like, and Violet is super stressed, like, about Mira. Seeing her, really doesn't want her to die. Yada, yada, yada. They get home, she finds out Mira survived. Whew, thankfully. Okay? Then...
Well, is Mira mad at all? Like, I told you to stay away from one person. And that is the person you are closest to.
Yes, but she's also like, oh, you freaking bonded with the dragon that is, like, bonded with his dragon?
So
like,
she's not, like, doesn't blame her. She knows.
Like, be careful. Like, oh my gosh, okay? So, Zayden, along with Taryn, gets together with Taryn, and they create/design, make a saddle for Violet. So now Taryn has this big saddle, so Violet can stay on. Violet feels secure. And she's like, oh, wow, okay, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And Taryn's, like, super proud of it and is like, yeah, we're going to be the best now, okay? So she's good with flying. She feels way better about it with being strapped into this saddle. So the first time she really uses the saddle, they have this big event where it's basically capture the flag, but it's capture the egg. And everyone's on their dragons in their different sections against each other, kind of like Quidditch.
I was gonna say, wait.
Yeah,
Sorry,
with the different sections. And at one point, Liam is falling from his dragon. And she loves Liam so much as a friend now. And so she has Andarna use her time power again.
To pause.
To pause and for her to save Liam. Okay? When Andarna uses that power, it, like, exhausts her. Like, she sleeps for a whole week. Like, Violet is really specific about when she and doesn't want to use it a whole lot, right? She uses it to save Liam. Liam is saved, okay? Jack is the one who basically made Liam fall, and she is so pissed at Jack and wants him freaking gone. She is so full of rage and power that she sends a lightning strike and kills Jack.
Wow.
So Violet's power is lightning. Okay? And that is like, holy crap, that's a freaking huge power. Okay?
They haven't seen it for years.
Yes. So she has this huge power, but she can't control it. It kind of came out because she was so full of rage with Jack.
So she has a dragon that hasn't bonded anybody in a long time. She
has
this
two
power.
dragons.
Two dragons. And she has this lightning power.
Yeah. Ultimate underdog story. And nobody was like, you're the weakest link. You're going to die.
Wow.
And she's like, psych. So she has this lightning power, but she does not know how to control it. So she's starting to go to the teacher that teaches about powers when they, whatever the word is, come out of you. He starts teaching you how to use it. Yeah. Okay? But she has never killed someone before. So even though it was Jack,
kills her.
She is like, I cannot believe I killed him. One. But she's also like, why do I have to have a power of destruction? Like, Mira has this power of protection. Brennan had this power of healing. Like, why me, yeah, who the one who does not want to kill people, has this power of destruction? Zayden is... Why are they there?
Oh, he comes and checks on her after.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so he's kind of feeling through everything, how she's feeling. Struggling. So he comes in and he's like, what's going on? Talk to me about it. And she's like, I am a killer basically now. This is a weapon of destruction. And he's like, no, you're going to save so many lives with this. He's like, by killing Jack, you saved so many lives because that's a killer. Like, comforts her, makes her feel a little better, makes her feel lots of things. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay?
So, make out or more?
They go all the way.
Alright.
Okay?
Okay.
Tension's been building. Okay?
Do their dragons feel this?
Yes,
the
probably.
dragon's like, wait, that's our job.
They know.
Yeah, they totally know. And even the next morning, Taryn's like, yeah, you had a good night? And she's like, shut up! Okay? There's a big celebration of, hey, 5-6 years ago, we killed all those rebellion leaders, and that was over, so we're having a big party, and the king comes and everything. Horrible day for Xaden.
I was gonna say, but the poor kids of the rebellion.
Yes, so none of the kids that were rebellion kids show up to this party.
Makes sense.
Liam shows up because he's there to protect Violet, and she asked him to come or something, not knowing that it was really hard.
That makes sense.
Because it's also really hard for her because it's the anniversary of Brennan's death as well. Okay. She talks to the king. He's kind of a douche. She's like, whatever. Where's Xaden? Why isn't he here? Kind of feels him. Kind of finds out that he is sitting on the parapet, the bridge that they first crossed. So she goes over to him, kind of basically wanting him to open up because it's a hard day for him, and a little bit opens up about that. So then they connect. They go back to Xaden's room. Bada bing, bada boom. Like 5 times. But
wow.
Like 4 a.m, they get interrupted by one of Xaden's friends and is like, we're under attack. So they get up, get dressed. Oh my gosh, what's happening? Run to where the party was at. Turns out it was just a drill, basically. It was for the war games, is what they call them. It's like this big event at the end of the year, essentially. Okay? So they're like, we were in the middle of something, but fine. Okay? This is where I'm a little bit confused. So they have different posts that each section is going to go to. And she obviously is in Dane's section, so they're going to head to this place, okay? Xaden obviously wants her with him. So he says, no, you're going to be in my group, and we're going to go to this other place. But I don't know if it's... Like, the people going with Xaden are rebellion kids. Like, there's more than 3 of them going. I don't know how he's, like, going here and people aren't knowing about it. I don't know. I didn't really understand that. But she's like, okay, I'm with you. And Dane's like, why are you going with him, etc. Jealous. And cups her face and is like, be safe. I'm gonna miss you. She's like, okay, fine. I'll see you in a little bit when this challenge is over. So Xaden takes her and a bunch of rebellion kids to this place called Athbine, I think. And she's like, oh, this is part of the games, blah, blah, blah. Xaden kisses her, and all of a sudden, Griffin Riders show up. Griffin Riders are the enemy people. Griffins are like these lion bird things. And they're the ones that Navarre is constantly fighting. Okay, dragons and griffins fight all the time. They're training to fight these people. The leader of this griffin gang shows up and is like, Xaden, like, how are you? Do you have our shipment, essentially?
Yeah. And
Xaden's like, you're early. And she's like, I know, but
we need it.
We need it, yeah. This attack is happening, we need it. And Violet's like, what the heck's going on? Like, why are you talking to these Griffins leaders like you know them and that you have a relationship with them? Turns out, Xaden and the rebellion kids are supplying weapons to the Griffin Riders.
Oh, no.
Okay? Violet is like, I feel completely betrayed. Not just by you, but if you knew about this, Taryn knew about this, and totally did not tell me. Like, I feel I don't even know who you are. Like, when she said, I love you to Xaden and everything. And she's like, I can't trust you. What is happening? Okay? So, Xaden has been giving Griffin Riders specific weapons to kill Venin. Venin creatures from the Fable book that she loves so much.
Yes, I do remember.
And she's like, Venin aren't real. They're mythological creatures. Like, what are you talking about? They're these evil, energy-wielding, power-hungry, evil things, okay? Super scary. You can only kill them by stabbing them with this specific weapon. And Xaden's like, no, they are real, and Navarre knows that they're real, and the Griffin Riders, all they are trying to do is survive from these Venins, and they're trying to survive from the Venins and the Wyverns.
So are the Wyverns the animals?
Uh-huh.
And then the Venin are also animals?
Venin look like people, but they have really red eyes and like these red veins, and they're like super
And
evil.
Wyvern are the animals that they fly?
Yeah, they're like two-legged dragon-esque looking things. They breathe fire.
Uh-huh.
They breathe like this blue fire. But dragon fire does not affect Venin. Like, they are a huge threat. And Xaden's like, that's what the rebellion was all about. That's what my father was protecting, is these Griffin Riders who are just trying to survive and to save these people from the Venin. Navarre doesn't want anyone in Navarre finding about the Venin because they don't want to help these people. They are the only ones with the resources. So she's just finding out, my mother knows about this. Like, this is like huge news. She thought that Venin and Wyvern or whatever were just mythological creatures, okay? I should have said this before. After she finds out Mira survived and everything, she's looking through the book of fables her dad gave her, and she finds out that there's a note slipped into the lining. So the note from her dad says, My Violet, by the time you find this, you'll most likely be in the scribe quadrant, because that's what he thought she was going to before he died. Remember that folklore is passed from one generation to the next to teach us about our past. If we lose it, we lose the links to our past. It only takes one desperate generation to change history, even erase it. I know you'll make the right choice when the time comes. You have always been the best of both your mother and me. Love, Dad.
Aww.
Okay? So now that she's finding out that these things are real, she's like, well, Dad's note is making a little more sense. That a generation of Navarres have been like, no, Venin aren't real, this is mythological stuff, and got rid of all the fables in the scribe quadrant. That's why she couldn't find the book, etc. Okay? Now, when that shit hits the fan.
I love her voice.
Feeling super betrayed, then they get a message from Basgiath people, the War Games people, saying, your mission, because everybody got a mission once they got to their post, just says, survive if you can.
Ah!
Okay?
Can you go pretend you're asleep?
I got Rachel on my team.
Everybody needs nap time. No one can hurt me.
So, I'm a little confused how they know, but Dane knows kind of what Xaden is up to now, because he read
About
their
the
memories of
weapons
where
and
they
the-
are. He might not know about weapons, but they know that Xaden's doing something. Whether they have been watching him, and Dane is in on it. He totally read her memories without her permission and stuff. That's why he said, I'll miss you, because Xaden's like, they basically sent us here to die.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So then, they find out in the valley below, 4 Venin are coming. And, 2 Venin can, wipe out a whole city. They're starting to freak out a little bit.
Yeah.
And they're like, there's no backup coming. We have these few daggers that you have to get close to the Venin in order to stab them. And
The dragon's fire does nothing.
yes. So they have some Griffin Rider help. The Griffin Riders are like, okay, those are our people down there, so we'll see you. We hope you stay and fight, but we know that we're all going to probably die. To get the civilians out of here, okay? Because the Venom are there looking for something. Like, Xaden doesn't know what they're looking for, but they're showing up because they've been looking for something. They, like, go and raid different towns looking for this something. If we stay here, we're screwed, but we're going to help these civilians. So all of them decide, including Violet, we're going to stay and we're going to help defend these civilians. Flying, battle, pew, pew.
Lightning strike.
Lightning strike.
Shadows.
She's trying to shoot Venom with lightning. They figure out that if you kill one Venom, which they eventually get one or two of them gone, a bunch of different wyvern die as well, because the Venom are basically giving power to the wyvern. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
At one point, Liam is flying. Wyvern is attacking Violet and Taryn, and Liam and his dragon fight him off, get them off Taryn's back, but then that wyvern gets on Liam's dragon's back and kills Liam's dragon.
Oh.
But Liam's and his dragon bond is so strong that Liam dies too.
It kills Liam.
So Liam dies and she is devastated. She's like,
Yeah.
it's my fault. He was saving me. It's my fault. Xaden's super sad. Chaos ensues. And Violet eventually gets stabbed by a venom with this poison. You'd think she is probably totally going to die. They get rid of the venom.
Uh-huh.
They succeed. A lot of them end up dying. Xaden does not. Xaden takes her back to the fortress place and takes her to Mender. And she's like in and out of it for a couple days. She finally wakes up. She's talking to Xaden in her little chamber she's in. She's like, I can't trust you. I don't trust anyone or anything. And she's like, her world is totally rocked. And then walks in Brennan.
What the hell? Wait, her brother?
Mm-hmm. And he says, welcome to the revolution.
What?
And the book ends.
I'm certainly not going to read it.
But you're
invested! Now I want to know.
I know!
Worth the hype. Is it overhyped?
I don't think it's overhyped. I think it took me a while longer than I thought it would to get into it.
Uh-huh.
So I'd probably say at least a 4.5. But I think it's worth the hype, especially if you like fantasy. I haven't read a fantasy book in a long time, so it was cool. It was good to get into. And like, I'm really excited to read Iron Flame.